سيدنا محمد كما يجب.
Efendimiz Hazretlerinin aziz pak münevver mutahhar ruh şeriflerine salavat-ı şerife getirenlerin ahir ve akıbetleri hayır olur. Âl ezvacı, tahfiret evladı Resul-i Eshab'ın efendilerimizin sayr-ı enbiya-i zam ve Resulü fihan hazıratın erva şeriflerine Pirimiz Bilal-ı Habeş radıyallahu anh efendimizin Şeyhimiz Said-ı Seyf Abdülkerim el-Kıbrıs er-Rabbani Hazretlerinin ve el-Musulü bu caminin banisi ve bugüne kadar içerisinden gelmiş geçip imam mezdin kaynlarının ve kahve ehli imanın ervahı için Allah rızası için el-Fatiha. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. İnnallâhe ve melâiketehu yusallûne alen-nebi. Ya eyyühellezîne âmenû sallu aleyhi ve sellimû teslîmâ. Allahümme salli alâ seyyidina Muhammedin ve alâ ali seyyidina Muhammed. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Hayya aleyhisselam. Hayya aleyhisselam. Hayya aleyhisselam. Hayya aleyhisselam. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. La ilahe illallah.
La ilahe illallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Elhamdülillah. Elhamdülillah. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala Resulina Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecmain. Nahmedullah Teala ve nestağfiru ve eşhedü en la ilahe illallah vahdehu la şerike leh ve eşhedü enne seyyidina Muhammeden abduhu ve habibuhu ve resuluh. Sallallahu aleyhi ve ala alihi ve ezvacihi ve sahabe tabi khulafen raşidin mahadin min ba'di. Ve zilmeti ala tahkik hususan min rahmeti khulafen rasul ala tahkik umar al-mu'minin Hazreti Ebu Bakır, Umar, Osman ve Ali ve ala bakir sahabe tabi'in ridvanullah ta'ala aleyhim ecmain. Ya eyyuhal mu'minul hazirun ittakullah ta'ala ve te'inallahu mellezine tegallezine hum muhsinun. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin ve salatu ve selamu ala eşrafil enbiya ve mursalin Seyyidina Mevlana Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecmain. All praises are due to Allah, Lord of the universes. All praises are due to Allah who has created the heavens and the earth and all that is between them. All praises are due to Allah who set the sun, the moon, and the stars in their orbits. All praises are due to Allah who sent Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ as the pride of the universes. And may all peace and blessings be upon the Prophet of Allah, the Messenger of Allah, the beloved of Allah, the chosen of Allah, the most honored one in divine presence, Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ, and upon his noble family and blessed companions, especially upon the Khulafa Rashidin, Hazreti Abu Bakr Siddiq, Hazreti Umar Farooq, Hazreti Osman al-Ghani and Hazreti Ali al-Murtaza, and all those who follow them until the last day. Ya ayyuhal mu'minun, O believers, we have almost completed the entire Islamic year of 1438. Today is the third Jummah of Zulhijjah. We passed through Muharram, Safar, Rabiul Awal, Rabiul Thani, Jamadul Awal, Jamadul Thani, Rajab, Shaban, Ramazan, and Zulqaidah. We celebrated the holy days and nights of Ashura, Mawlid, Raghaib, Mi'raj, Barat, and Qadr. So as this year comes to the close, we should reflect. We should take accounting of our dunya. We all take accounting of our dunya. saying, how much money did I make? And we get very upset if our wealth, it has gone down. We should take the accounting of our akhirat more seriously. As Shaykh Abdul Karim al-Kabrisi Rabbani, Qaddasallahu Sir, is saying, the Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying to us, the way you live, the way you believe, that's how you will live. The way you live, that's how you will die. The way you die, that's how you will be buried. The way you'll be buried, that's how you will get up to the judgment day. Watch yourself. Look at yourself. Say to yourself, am I happy with the situation that I'm living in right now? Is it enough for me to get up for the judgment day like this? Ask yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't cheat yourself. You may cheat the whole world. Today's people are lying to the whole world, left and right. At least don't lie to yourself. Look at yourself. Look at your actions and say, do you like it? If you like it and you say that it's according to the line with Islam, then continue, because that's how you're going to die. If you don't like it, then correct yourself. Don't delay it for tomorrow, because maybe Azrael is waiting for tonight. Maybe your name is in that book. We are weak servants. We must ask for help. Shaykh Effendi is saying, New Year is coming, yes. Make to your own self saying, Ya Rabbi, I'm making intention to become a better servant to you this year. I'm a weak servant. Help me. Say, help me sincerely, and look how fast help is going to reach to you. It's not far. It's very near. Once the Sahabe Kiram were making dua very loudly. The Holy Prophet ﷺ came to them saying, you are not asking someone who is far from you. He is very near to you. He is nearer to you than your jugular vein. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very close. But nobody is asking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us so many opportunities to come close to Him and to beg Him for His help, but nobody is asking. Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying, Allah descends every night to the lowest heaven when 1/3 of the night remains and says, who will call upon me that I may answer? Who will seek of me that I may give? Who will seek my forgiveness that I may forgive him? Definitely, we as individuals have so much to ask Allah for. Definitely, we as a community have so much to ask Allah for. Definitely, this ummah has so much to ask Allah for. But who is getting up to ask Him for His help? Muslims became selfish and are thinking only of themselves and of their own nations. Instead of being one ummah, they are looking only to their own tribes and their own nations. Our leaders have sold themselves out. They are no longer working for Islam. That is why people can sit comfortably and eat comfortably while the little children of Burma, they are screaming. We are Muslims, and the Muslims were not always like this. The Muslims stood up, but we have been infected with nationalism, and with that comes selfishness, and our hearts have gone stone cold, which lets us to forget our brothers and our sisters. Our hearts are only pumping for ourselves and our dunya, because we went back to tribalism. We went back to that Jahiliyyah practice of only looking out for our own kind. The whole world has become like that. Muslims and non-Muslims. Tribalism is one of the idols of Jahiliyyah that the Rasulullah ﷺ came to destroy. Holy Prophet ﷺ said about tribalism, leave it because it is rotten. He also said, Without any doubt, Allah has removed from you the pride of arrogance of the age of Jahiliyyah, the age of ignorance, and the glorification of ancestors. Now people, they are of two kinds. Either a person is a believer who is aware, or an evildoer who does wrong. You are all the children of Adam, and Adam was made of clay. People should give up their pride in nations because that is a coal from the coals of hellfire. If they do not give this up, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will consider them lower than the lowly worm which pushes itself through dung. This ummah now, it has gone back to glorifying their ancestors and the arrogance of the age of ignorance. Every nation looks only to enrich itself, forgetting their brothers who give shahadat. Their heads, they are rotten. So the whole body now does not know how to behave. And that is why nobody dares to speak even a word against the torture and the suffering of the Muslims that is happening all over the world. And even if they speak, their words are useless. Their words carry no power. Their words carry no weight. And because of that, this ummah is being humiliated, like that worm that the Holy Prophet ﷺ is mentioning. We have to know our history. Not your own tribal history, not your own country's history, not your own history of your past. We have to know our history of Islam. That is the first step to waking us up from this evil condition. A big part of the Quran is about history. It is not your people. It is not your blood. It is not your nation. It is earlier nations that so many of them, they no longer exist here in this world, but Allah is saying, they are you. You have that. Be careful. Whatever happened to the earlier nations, it could happen to us. And it is happening to us. Our grandfathers were those ones who did not look at tribe or nation, but they looked only at the shahadat and who was a believer. They looked only to the glory of Islam. And the believers were working together in the way of Allah to build a civilization. Yes, the Sahaba Kiram were the greatest humans who walked on the face of the earth after the prophets. And amongst the greatest Sahabis were those, they were not Arabs. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anh used to say, Hazrat Abu Bakr is our master. And he freed our master, Hazrat Bilal. Hazrat Salman al-Farsi was from those most trusted by the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and the third in the golden chain of the Naqshbandi order. And there was no distinction between these Sahabis. They were distinguished by their belief and by their taqwa and by their love of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. This continued throughout the history of the Ottomans especially, and found its identity in the period of the glorious Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans, they reigned over more nations than any other empire of the time. And each of them, they were given their rights. Every citizen was pledged as a servant of the Sultan. And each servant of the Sultan was distinguished by the service that he provided to Islam. The Ottoman Empire was not a Turkish empire. It was an empire of Islam. That is why the Ottoman Empire was able to stand up for the Muslims all the way to Aceh in Indonesia when they were being harassed on their way to Hajj by the enemies of Islam. That is why the Sultan was able to send help to Muslims in India when they needed his help. That is why the Sultan was even able to help non-Muslims when they were starving in Europe. A body can only function with a head. And the head of the ummah is the Khilafat. Without that head, The whole body is suffering today, and that is why we are in this situation today. Our enemies want us to forget the power of the Sultanate. Yes, the Sultan carried the divine might and majesty that comes with being the shadow of Allah on earth and the inheritor of Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ. Listen to the letter of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent to the King of France. The Sultan wrote in the introduction of the letter, I, who am the Sultan of Sultans, the Sovereign of Sovereigns, the giver of crowns to the monarchs on the face of the earth, shadow of Allah on earth, the Sultan and Sovereign Lord of the Mediterranean and the Black Sea, of Rumelia and Anatolia, of Karamania and the land of Rum, of Zulqadria, Diyarbakir, of Kurdistan, of Azerbaijan, Persia, Damascus, Cairo, Aleppo, of the Mecca and Medina, of Jerusalem, of all of Arabia, of the Yemen and many other lands, which my noble forefathers and my glorious ancestors, may Allah light up their tombs, conquered by the force of their arms, and which my august majesty has made subject to my flaming sword and victorious blade. I, Sultan Suleiman Khan, write to you, Roi Francis, King of the land of France. That is our heritage. Muslims, in just the name of the Sultan, kept order and justice in the world. When Sultan Suleiman, Kanuni Sultan Suleiman, found out that the French had invented a practice of men and women facing each other and dancing close to each other in public, he wrote a letter to the king saying, I am who the Khan of 48 kingdoms, Kanuni Sultan Suleiman Khan. According to report was given by the ambassador, I heard of it, that there was a dance by your people, that they cling each other, men and women, in public, because this is contagious. I'm worrying that you will infect my lands with this sickness. If it reaches my lands, and you don't terminate this sickness immediately, I will come with my victorious army, and I will destroy you. The French did not dance the waltz for over 100 years as a result. But the Muslims today, they don't want to ask for a Khalifa, because with the Khalifa comes obedience to the orders of Allah. Today, Muslims are busy trying to invent a new Islam that is concentrating on following the ego. An Islam that does not distinguish between right and wrong. An Islam that does not stand up for truth. What they're inventing is not Islam. It's only obedience to the ego, obedience to shaitan, and in this Akhir Zaman, obedience to Dajjal. The Khilafat was removed 100 years ago, and since then the Muslims, they have been in suffering. The very least we must do is ask in our hearts for the return of our Sultan. We are not fighting. We are not even making politics. We are asking the Lord of the heavens and the earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to send back the Khalifa, because only with the Khalifa comes justice. The only way to know how to live in this time is to be connected to the ones who are connected to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Our Shaykh is such a one. He is teaching us. Holy Prophet ﷺ is addressing us saying, when that time enters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give the ruling system of the world in the hands of the unbelievers. Don't run so much to change it, because you are not going to have the power to change it. On the outside appearances, it is going to be in the hands of the unbelievers. They are going to rule. The Khalifa is going to be hidden, and they are going to do all kinds of wrong activities in the world. And he is saying, wait until one of my descendants, Mahdi alayhi salam, appears, because before his appearance, no one is going to be able to change anything. The awliya Allah, They have the power in their hands. Allah gave them the power to change things, but they have proper manners. They are not interfering in anything. They pulled themselves out because all the hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ, it must come to life. And that's what's happening. But he's saying, if you are a believer who is living at that time, then you have to hold on tightly to the rope of Allah. Allah is saying to us, hold on tightly to the rope of Allah and do not separate. And Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying to us, hold on tightly to my sunnats. Apply those sunnats, my lifestyle, to your life, not just by word, but to take them and to put them in your life. And leave the city areas. Move away from the city areas to the mountainsides and keep your faith according to as much as you know. Don't go around searching so much. Also, because you are going to see so many books everywhere and so many people are speaking so many things, but they are only going to give you more confusion. Everything that you are going to learn is going to make you more confused. So if you know a couple of hadiths, apply them to your life. Try to live a correct lifestyle and wait for the Sahibul Zaman, Muhammad Mahdi alayhi salam, to take the takbir. This is what we are doing. This is what we are waiting for, and inshallah Rahman, this is what we are trying to apply to our life. We have no claim in this world. Anyone who is claiming is not too intelligent. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the authority. There is no superpower except Him. He is the supreme ruler of this world. Amen. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. La ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum wa atubu ilayh. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wal hamdu wa kullu shay'in qadir. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wal hamdu wa kullu shay'in qadir. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wal hamdu wa kullu shay'in qadir. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. Subhun kudusun rabbuna rabbul malaikati wa ruh. Subhun kudusun rabbuna rabbul malaikati wa ruh. Subhun kudusun rabbuna rabbul malaikati wa ruh. Inna dinna inda Allah al-Islam. Allahumma salli. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah, eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Hayyâle selâ, hayyâle selâ, hayyâle felâ, hayyâle felâ. Ve dikâmet selâ, ve dikâmet selâ. Allahu Ekber, la ilahe illallah.